Okay, today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the difference between Squarespace and Showit and what it would look like to switch from Squarespace to Showit. We're going to talk about the two different platforms, where one might shine a little bit more over the other, and then what my personal experience has been switching my website from Squarespace to Showit, as well as now working just on Showit for my client websites. So a little bit about me. When I started my website design journey, I started with Squarespace. I absolutely love it. I do believe it's a really great platform. The reason I switched over was because I found the design capabilities and being able to create a unique design layout and certain functionalities on Showit was just, there's no limits. You can create so many unique designs and you don't have to use code for it. Whereas with Squarespace, I found if you wanted to create those unique designs, you do need to use code, and I wasn't about to learn it. So let's get into it. When we think about Squarespace and we think about Showit, these are both very user-friendly platforms. They're both marketed and promoted to be user-friendly. They both offer free templates that you can start off with if you are wanting to kind of DIY your own website. They both have designers who create designer website templates if you wanted something that was a little bit more unique, but at a smaller price point. And the reason that designers are able to provide these is because they are user-friendly platforms, because you can figure out how to make updates on your own, how to change things around and personalize it, add information, take away information, all of that stuff. They both have a bit of a learning curve, so I wouldn't say you could just jump in and know exactly what you're doing right from the beginning. That's what we're here for as designers. But so they both have that option to be able to DIY your websites. What I really love about it is when you do get a website designed from a designer, oftentimes, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but personally, I do a launch and lesson plan where a part of my offboarding process is to teach my clients how to update their own websites so that they feel fully confident making their own changes, so they don't feel like they have to invest continuously to maintain their website. And that's the beauty of both of these platforms. You don't have to have a web developer on retainer. You could make certain changes yourself, or you could hire somebody to pop in and make those changes for you. So both of them are really, I would say, pretty equal in that part. They're both very user-friendly. Customer service is huge, both of these platforms. So if you are a Squarespace user wanting to switch over to Showit, you don't have to worry about not having that same customer service support. They are both really, really great. I love the teams for both of them. They have their chat options, so you can kind of pop in and just chat with somebody and they will help you out. The big difference is the interface and design capabilities. I touched on this before as well, but honestly, this was what made Showit so intriguing to me to begin with. This is why I kind of started dabbling in it. And honestly, the moment I started playing with Showit, there was no turning back for me. The design options that you are literally designing every little pixel on that website. You can create, it's just endless, the opportunity that you have to create. And as a creative, I absolutely love that. So as a client, as a designer, whatever it is that you're doing and you're thinking about making the switch possibly, I think it is super valuable to be able to have a very unique website, especially these days where, there are a lot of cookie cutter websites out there, and I don't want to label Squarespace as that, because there's a lot of great designers that create unique designs, but oftentimes you can see a Squarespace website and be like, okay, well, that's a Squarespace website. Not saying it doesn't look good, but it just doesn't have that same kind of flow. You can't overlap things the same way. Squarespace did come out with their Fluid engine in the summer of 2022, I want to say. And it was a great step forward, and they of course promote it as a drag and drop platform, but Showit truly is a drag and drop platform where you can move things anywhere that you want on the page. You can layer things, it's endless, like I said, whereas with Squarespace I find it is a little bit clunky even with their drag and drop option. Although I will say I haven't played with Squarespace, designing in Squarespace for, I want to say like 5 months. So unless if there's been some big changes in the last 5 months that I don't know about, that's kind of where I stand there. I mean, Showit honestly takes the cake when it comes to interface and design capabilities. Integrations. This is where, Squarespace, does still have a place in my heart when it comes to integrations, because Squarespace is a true all-in-one platform. You can purchase your domain there. You can have you have Acuity scheduling. You have your e-commerce. Don't quote me on this, but I've heard that they're working on maybe hosting courses. I'm not too sure exactly, but whereas Showit is a website builder where you would integrate other platforms for these functionalities. So you could still use Acuity scheduling with Showit. You would just integrate it into Showit. You could have an e-commerce store on Showit, and you would use, there's options. You could use Shopify. That's what I use for my template shop. Thrivecart. There's different options. I wouldn't recommend Showit for like a big e-commerce shop. If you have like under 50 products, then then it would be a good option. But otherwise, I'd probably go with like a full Shopify. Not that I use Shopify myself, but I've heard great things about it, or Squarespace, because they have that e-commerce kind of built into it. And you're not just like, whereas with Showit, you're using buy buttons from Shopify, but Shopify does have a smaller starter pack, so that your client or yourself are not paying for full Shopify monthly subscription. They're just paying like $5 or something like that. So that's one thing where I think Squarespace does a great job, is it has a lot of integrations like built in to the platform. It is a truly all-in-one platform. Whereas with Showit, you are integrating other platforms to make certain things work. That being said, I do find that, with certain capabilities or functionalities that you want on your website, you're going to be paying extra for it, even if it's within Squarespace. So if you have a Squarespace website, but you want Acuity scheduling, you're still paying extra for Acuity scheduling. So if you're using Showit and you want to integrate Acuity, you could still, you'd still be paying the same amount extra. So that's not, I don't find that that's something that holds me back. But just something to think about. And then of course you have your blog. So Squarespace has blogging built into the platform, whereas Showit integrates with WordPress for your blog. And this can sound a little bit intimidating, but to be honest, it's really not. And when I switched over my blog from Squarespace, I noticed a lot of things that I was able to optimize more once I got over to WordPress. So WordPress, 1/3 of the world is using WordPress for their blogging. And there's a reason for that. And it is a super powerful tool to increase your SEO. So integrating Showit and WordPress for your blog, it's kind of like a one-time thing. Basically how it works is you're designing your blog in Showit, which is amazing because you get to create a beautiful design, and then you write your blog posts on WordPress. You just have to set up the integrations one time, and then after that, every time you post, everything's kind of getting automatically pulled into your Showit website. It's honestly super easy. I'm going to be making a video on that. And once I do, I'll link it down below. But Showit also has really great, really short videos that teach you how to kind of like integrate WordPress to Showit, how all of that works. So I'll link that as well, just so that you guys have access to that if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But what I want to really get across here is that I know it sounds a little like, okay, well, this seems like a little bit more work, having to connect WordPress now to my Showit website. I've heard people say, well, I don't want to do that. Whereas Squarespace has a blog built into it. But I promise you, once you do make that switch over to Showit and it's connected with WordPress, you do it one time, it's so, so easy. And then you do, WordPress has a plugin that I use. There's a few different plugins you can choose from. I use Yoast, and I find that it's super helpful if you are blogging to help increase your SEO, which is, of course, why we want to blog. I also have a blog post on that, on how Yoast works. So I won't get too deep into it, but it's basically with every single post that you're putting up, it's giving you like a score on readability and SEO. And so you can actually make sure that your score is really good before you even publish it. So you're not having to go back and forth. And also you feel confident that, okay, all this time I put into writing this blog post is going to pay off because it is optimized for SEO. And that's one thing I absolutely loved when I switched over to WordPress for my blog. Yeah, so that's a big thing with integrations. And so now just a little bit more of, what it would look like to switch from Squarespace to Showit. So if you have already made that decision, you want to make that switch, what does that look like? What do you have to do? I will say I have not met a single person who has switched to Showit and been upset about it. Everyone's been pretty darn happy about it. So not hating on Squarespace. I do love it. There's a part, I think that every platform kind of has its clients. So it really depends on what you're looking for, right? So what you're going to have to do is you will have to move over and basically redesign your website onto Showit. There's no way to kind of just like plug it into Showit from Squarespace. So Showit has a 14-day trial. So you can just sign up for the trial. You'll get kind of a feel for what designing in Showit feels like, looks like. And from there, you could just, have your Squarespace website pulled up on your iPad, on, another laptop, whatever the case is. And you can kind of go back and forth and just redesign it on Showit. And it shouldn't take too long because you're not doing that heavy lifting. You're kind of copy and pasting your copy, all of that stuff. And I do have a 1 month off Showit code for you. So if you want 1 month free on Showit, I will put that code in the description below so that you guys can get 1 month free on me. So that would be the next step, would be then signing up for a Showit account. For your Showit account, there's 3 different options. You could either have a regular Showit account where you just have your website up, or you could have a Showit with a basic blog. This is if you have under 10K views on your blog. And basically if you're starting your blog from scratch. And then there's also the option for Showit and advanced blog. So that is if you already have a blog on Squarespace and you want to migrate it over to Showit, so you're not starting from scratch. Then you would want to go with the advanced blog, and the Showit team actually will do all that work for you. They will migrate over your blog from Squarespace, so you're not losing any of the SEO. There could be a bit of, a little discrepancy in your SEO when you do move it over. Personally, I just realized when I moved mine over, I was like, okay, there's a lot of things that I need to fix on each post to optimize for SEO. So you do want to make sure you're kind of, looking at your posts live, making sure everything looks good, and then go back in and optimize if they're not optimized. So move over your design by redesigning it, sign up for your Showit account. Feel free to use my code for 1 month free. Then from there, you're going to connect your domain. So once you connect your domain, honestly, it's so They've made it so easy. There's actually a button that you can click now that is going to connect your domain for you. It's going to update the DNS settings in your domain registrar. But the thing is, this only works with certain platforms. And now, as I'm saying it, I think Squarespace is not one of those platforms. But yeah, so you would connect your domain. Showit has really easy guides that walk you through exactly how to do it. Typically, to be honest, it takes, it can take anywhere from minutes to hours for your DNS records to propagate, but they do say up to 48 hours. So just be mindful of that. But I will also link in the description the links that walk you through exactly how to connect your domain if you are at that point and you just want a little bit of help there. Yeah, so that has been a little bit about why I switched over to Showit from Squarespace, what it would be like for you to make that switch, and how to make that switch if you choose to. And I hope that was really helpful. If it was, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below.